All right, we are ready for the third component of the ALICE training, and we actually are going to go over the acronym ALICE and all its components. Once again, the ALICE origins was authored by a police officer to keep his wife, an elementary school principal, safe after the tragic events at Columbine. Since these humble beginnings, ALICE continues to be the leading active shooter response program in the United States. ALICE, once again, alert, lockdown, inform, counter, and evacuate. Training helps prepare individuals to handle the threat of an active shooter. ALICE teaches individuals to participate in their own survival while leading others to safety. Though no one can guarantee success in this type of situation, this new set of skills will greatly increase the odds of survival should anyone face this form of disaster. Why ALICE? Provides prep and a plan for individuals and organizations on how to more proactively handle the threat of an aggressive intruder. A lockdown-only response to an active shooter in schools does not meet recommended federal or state protocols, or even yet recommendations. Think about the standard of care for your own children. We have a duty to protect the students in our school just like you want to protect your own children. Here are some more agencies that recommend ALICE types of training. Quite a few, and I'm sure the list will grow. Now, moving on to each letter of ALICE. A stands for alert. Now, the initial alert may be a gunshot, and for some people in these types of events, past events, they've heard the gunshot, but they weren't quite aware that it was a gunshot. They thought it was like a firecracker or a car exhaust backfiring. So whenever you do hear some kind of loud noise, always be aware, check it out. It's very important. And then after that, after you hear something like that, it's important for whomever to get on the PA for whatever school you belong to and alert all staff. And you want to avoid using code words. So once again, initial awareness. As soon as you're aware of something, take action. No code words. Specifically, get on the phone. And for each building, they have a different number. For here at Palumbee, we have a code 4002 pound. And for each building, it is different, and it is on the emergency crisis plan binder sheet that was provided to each classroom. Hooper's is 8197. For Martin and Thompson, you are to dial the inside zone key or the outside zone key or the page all key to get out to everybody. When you do contact everybody, you want to describe what the shooter looks like, their weapon, and their location. And if you can, a mass communication to all staff would go out as well. So that's important, the first part. And our central office at the same point would be contacting the media or social media to let them know, to let parents know not to come to the site. All right, L, lockdown. Here we go. All right, at any point in time, you can jump from an A to an E, depending on the circumstances and how you're alerted. All right, but if evacuation is not a safe option, barricade your entry points. Prepare for evacuation or counter once you've locked down. So typically in the lockdown situation, you lock the door and you hung out in the corner and you turn your lights off. Everybody in one location. Very easy for someone with a gun or a weapon to make mass casualties happen because of you together. So one thing we want to make sure is we spread out. You don't huddle. You want to barricade that door with whatever you can. Take computer tables, desks, books, bookcases. We've seen some people who take extension cords or belts and they loop it around the door handle and they hold it further out as well as locking it. Sometimes you might not be able to lock it fast enough. Some of the doors have arms on the doors at the top where you can loop a belt around it so that when someone tries to open it, the belt will keep it shut. So lots of different options. Whatever you can use, grab it. In the meantime, everybody's spread out. You look for escape routes. How would I get out if I have the chance to? You don't open the door for anyone. You dial 911 when it is safe to do so. And you don't want to draw the blinds anymore because the first responders need to be able to see into the room from the exterior just in case there is the intruder in the room that they need to take out, or do they need to get into a room to help somebody who is injured? Now we are going to move to I. Inform. All right. And inform basically is saying that during the course of an emergency event where someone might be armed, we want to make sure that everybody knows follow-up information. Because if the shooter gets hurt, if the shooter moves on to a different location of the school, then that might mean a lot more kids and staff getting out to safety. So get on the speaker again with the codes that we gave you. You're going to pass on real-time information again. What does the shooter look like? Where are they? What kind of weapon do they have? So the what, the where, the when, how, and the who. You want to keep students quiet in order to hear any sounds that might indicate the location of the intruder or an announcement which might help you evacuate safely. And once again, the PA phone system would be important. Some people may use walkies, some people might text people or email. And C, counter. All right, this is as a last resort. We are by no means telling you you should do this. We are giving you the opportunity to make that decision yourself. Some people may not feel like they're comfortable to do this. You never know how you're going to react in an emergency situation. But as a last resort, you want to distract the shooter's ability to shoot accurately. All right, and remember, most shootings are a single shooter, and most shootings are inexperienced, younger students who are not capable of shooting accurately. So whatever we can do to move erratically towards the exit while making noise, throwing objects at the shooter, that will hinder them from hurting more people. And if necessarily, swarming the shooter. Okay, so this is not fighting. This is taking back control of the room. It is age appropriate, only used as a last resort, and it is a personal choice. If somebody came into the room and had a weapon, you do have a choice to swarm the shooter. Last resort, gain control of the weapon by grabbing the wrist or arm, all in. Everybody on top of the intruder. And if you get access to the weapon, kick it away. Leave it there. If you feel like there's a need to get the weapon, you put a garbage can right on top of the weapon. And now we're going to talk about OODA by watching a video. OODA stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. It disrupts the shooter's process. All right, here we go. Count the number of passes between the white top participants.
The monkey business illusion. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the ball. The correct answer is 16 passes. Did you spot the gorilla? For people who haven't seen or heard about a video like this before, about half missed the gorilla. If you knew about the gorilla, you probably saw it. But did you notice the curtain changing color or the player on the black team leaving the game? Let's rewind and watch it again. Here comes the gorilla, and there goes a player, and the curtain is changing from red to gold. When you're looking for a gorilla, you often miss other unexpected events. And that's the monkey business illusion. Learn more about this illusion and the original gorilla experiment at theinvisiblegorilla.com.
So I doubt none of you are going to be dressed up as a gorilla in an event of an emergency to distract a shooter. But understand this video, what it's pointing out is that the more movement a person has, along with objects being thrown towards a shooter, the more difficulty he or she will have with accuracy. And the last one is evacuate. All right, for evacuation, we've all trained for this. We used to have a central location where everybody would go out and line up and we would count heads, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking to get out as fast as possible from any spot in the school. So that means we don't really have a central spot where we want everybody to run to immediately. We want them just to get to safety. If you remember Sandy Hook, there were quite a few kids and staff that ran across the street to different houses. They hid there. And what was most important is we did have a rallying point, and the news would help determine what the rally point was. So would the fire officials and law enforcement. We would come out in droves and in media to let everybody know where that rallying point would be. And each building right now, there is a predetermined location, but that may change depending on circumstances. So once again, you want to leave everything behind, get out any way you can, a window even. Most of our buildings are first floor, but upstairs in our central office, they're above ground, and they might need to exit a window. And once again, when you do evacuate a window, in order to get out of a window, and it's maybe you need to bust it, you need to hit the top right-hand corner of the window with a sharp instrument, and that is the best way to knock out a window. And you want to sweep off the glass on the bottom of the window and use whatever you can, extension cords, phone cords, those are really strong, stronger than you think or might imagine, to try and get out of that window. Look at any alternative exits that you might have, and then remember the rally point after the scene is deemed safe. So typically, actually the first year of the ALICE training, we ran through a bunch of different scenarios. And what we do now is we have drills. Each building is required to hold law enforcement drills each year. These drills are meant to refresh your knowledge of the ALICE principles. So we hope you've had an opportunity to reflect how an active response versus passive response typically minimizes injuries and fatalities, but also empowers you to make crucial decisions if ever in any one of these situations. And by all means, we hope that never happens. With that, we hope you have a great day, and thank you for your participation.